Howdy. Hello, everyone. I'm fixing to dust the I Spy shelf. I just thought I'd show it before I change it up completely, because once I start dusting, I will be making changes. I want to see how this video will work on my iPhone. I'm holding the phone. I'm having trouble with my iPad. I videoed it yesterday, and it was like wavy. I want to see if this does this with this one. Alright, I just want to show y'all all these goodies I have. Can you believe I want to dust this? Look at that pretty bling. Look at that little girl. Isn't she cute with that big bow? She is nobody I know, family or anything. I just love those vintage pictures, and I buy them. And that little girl that little doll back there with that winter outfit on, is I used those one year in my theme with my Christmas, and now they sit on the shelf because I don't use that anymore. And then that little one that's the little angel there, isn't she a doll? One of those little vintage Christmas ornaments. Anyway, and that little one that's sitting in that bowl with all those beads, that's a piano baby. There's a little doll in a cradle. That little doll holds a little bottle, and there's a couple of other little dolls in there that I just stuck in there. And little teddy bear Brett. I can't remember the years. Those were probably in the 90s. And look at those beautiful buttons. Oh my goodness. And the pretty little deer. I had planned to, well, every year I use those since I've had them, and I've had them for a good while. I use them in my Christmas decoration, and when I came in here to film this, I thought, well, I forgot to get those. But anyway, I've already finished what I'm going to do. And that beautiful flowery roses back there is something my granddaughter made back before they were really making those envelopes out of, she fixed me up something and fixed it up as an envelope before they had they just cut the paper and made it, and she had a card in it. I think it's I can't remember if it was a birthday card or what. Anyway, some little small doll cups, little vintage ones. There's a beautiful pen back there. There's a little heart frame, and there's another beautiful pen. There's a pen that's all blinged and needs some new sets put in it. And there's a picture of me when I was born. And that little dog goes all the way back to World War II. He was my brother's dog, and when I was born, he was about 6 months old, and he was very jealous of me, my mother said. And so, of course, I took probably some attention, and he didn't like that. And but it looks like he and I palled out as we grew older. When I was a little girl, I had more cats. Well, actually, I had one cat, and I love my cat. And she was always produced babies, and I always think about how I used to think that the chickens laid the babies, because I'd go out to the where the chickens was at. Mother'd send me out to get the eggs, and the cat would be all up in the nest, and she'd have a bunch of babies with her. I used to think that was so funny when I was a little girl. Look at that vintage picture back there. Isn't that pretty? Look at those eyes of that lady. I love some of these pictures. That little ballerina doll. I love those little bitty dolls. And there's a little zebra. Guess what? This is what I call my I Spy shelf. You never know what you'll spy. A sweet card back there somebody gave me. And I thought, well, I put it there. I might use those butterflies. And there's another one of those little dolls. Another one of those darling deer. And, oh, I forgot to show this. Me and my daddy standing amongst his chickens. I'm sure I was probably about 3 or 4 there. And there's my dear brothers. My brother's holding me. He's passed on, and the other brother is still with us. I praise God for that. Oh my goodness, that other brother went off to World War II, and I had another brother that went to World War II, and that was, I was born, and my mother, I know I was a change of life child. Like I said, I had these older brothers and sisters, so I can remember my mother praying so much, and that made me such a prayer warrior, because all I can remember is her praying for her sons, and both of them returned home without any problems. So, and they had families and such, and but those two older brothers have gone on to see the Lord. I have a lot of treasures in these jars, but of course I'm holding the phone, can't reach it. There's my children back in the 70s and me standing with them. Isn't that a neat picture? The boys back then had their hair a little long. I laughed about that. Remember when they wore their hairs long? And then just different things on this shelf. Look at these beautiful cameos. There's a little bitty one that's a screw-on with some bling in it. Oh, there's a little ring watch. There's a little old-timey owl. Look at that little little baby. I think it was used for cupcakes or something. Or maybe for, anyway. Just different things. My son one time made a joke with me, and he had in not a Christmas card, but a Mother's Day card, he had it said, "Oh, 5 cents." And I saved it because I thought it was funny. Of course, he gave me money, but that was a joke. And up here, there's my 3 little ones when they were little. My youngest boy had not been born, of course, because that's Margie that's now on YouTube, the little one. And look at that little curl she's got on top of her head. Oh, I love my children. And that's actually a postcard beside it. My mother wrote when that littlest one was born, and wrote that card and mailed it to a brother, and they've returned it to me just recently, and I was so proud to get it. And I have that little deal there. It says, "It's a keeper." And that's my other son. You can see the dust now. See, I said to dust. I got to dust this shelf. I do it real often and use a feather duster on it, and that helps. But sometimes it just has to be dusted. I love those little wind-up toys. I have a lot of toys on this shelf. And one time my daughter made that little thing called Organized People Are Just Too Lazy to Look for It. I had this pantry that I always was saying, "Oh, I need to organize this." It was a constant organization, and then I'd always get it in a mess. Kind of like I've got this shelf. I've reached for stuff, things have fell over. That's why, and it needs to be dusted. So I'll take it all down. It'll all be different, but I thought I'd show it to you. The little sign, I like those little signs, dollar sale. And look at those little teddy bears like they're looking over, like, "Are you going to sell me for $1?" And I told somebody one day, one time the insurance guy came into my house, and he gave me the most best insurance for a household. And I said, "What'd you do that for?" And he said, "Because you've got so much stuff." I laughed at that. Anyway, there's some old ear bobs. They are probably date back into the 50s. I found them at a kind of like a resale shop, antique shop, and I thought they were so cute. I got them really reasonable. And there's one of those little dolls. And those green jars back there were my mother's. And that picture there of my husband and me and Margie back in the 80s. And it was a Christmas time, and we had just probably sat down after a good meal. Isn't that special? That I have great times. Oh my goodness, how my houses have changed since then. I'll take y'all up and let you look real quick. It just goes on and on. Different things, jars filled with stuff, little bitty treasures. Now I'm going to bring you down to this shelf. Got to hurry up. Let's see, I've already done that one. Okay, this one has got a lot of old-timey pictures. My husband and I went to Washington, D.C. one time, and look at that. I have that book, and that was back 25 years ago, and I came across a lot of that, and I went, you know what, if I put that out, maybe I might just make a journal out of some of that. I have a lot of treasures I brought back then, some newspapers, and and different postcards and book. And I thought, well, you know what? I could make a little journal about our trip. Of course, it was real pictures we took back then. Anyway, love these old pictures. Look at all the pearls. Oh, look at that butterfly. He's blinged up. I ought to use him in something. And there's a little tiny camera. I think those are so cute. Can you believe we used to use cameras instead of, oh, there's the light in that picture, instead of all this videoing with our iPhones and such. I love that angel picture. And in that little tiny treasure chest, I put that little sign, no ice fishing allowed. Got some little jewels in it, and there's a real pretty pin. Somebody that was a dear person that I had met one time on the internet, she was making those, and I bought a couple of them from her. And there's another one sitting up on that pretty little thing with some old buttons and stuff inside there. Oh my goodness, if I could show all that. Look at that little tiny cowboy. Isn't he cute? I love things like that. And here's a tag that I made. I actually put those pictures on. I did it, and it says, "Remember me," and that's a picture of my mother, and my mother when she was a young woman, and then her mother when she was 17, and then a picture of my mother. Her mother passed away when she was 9 years old, so, and well, I wouldn't have got to know her anyway because my mother and daddy were near grandparents' age when I was born. Anyway, and there's my two precious older and younger boy when they seemed like that was yesterday when the oldest one got married. And there's a picture of some different families that, believe me, I just like the picture. I like the clothing and I like the dress. Open to the public, y'all. Some old buttons, beads, those jars are full of stuff in the back there. Oh my goodness. I'll have fun when I go through it. And there's a picture of my granddaughter that has a little great-grandson now, and she sent me a picture of him sitting in Santa Claus' lap. I thought I might put them together, and that'll be sweet. There's a picture of my mother and her two brothers before their mother passed away. The two boys went to live with someone, and mother went to live with her. They went to live with an uncle, and she went to live with her aunt, and she's named after. And that aunt was married to the town doctor, and she lived with them for about 3 years until my grandfather married this beautiful woman, and she was my step-grandmother. She lived until I was about 9 or 10, and I loved her dearly. She was good to my family and good to my children, and I mean, good to my mother's brothers, not my children, but my children never knew her. Anyway, look at my old antique. I have a lot of these little old toys. They're out in the storage room. I don't have room for anything like this in the house now. But I did put a few of them out on my treasures. Look at that little gun, y'all. It is so little. So cute, too. I bet it's not but 3 inches, maybe 2 inches. And those old footballs. That one up on that basket is very old. I just like things. And those are old knobs. And here again, I think I showed that where it's the old jewelry. And down here, I'll end on this one because I'm fixing to run out of time. Oh, I guess if I can get some light in there. There's me holding my first great-granddaughter. Isn't she precious? She's soon to be 2 next year. And then there's a little basket filled with buttons. And oh, there's another one of those old pictures back there. I don't think you can see it because of the dark. And those 2 pictures there are just pictures I love. All right, there's another picture of me and that with the great-grandson that lives out here, and he always runs and puts his arms up. He'll be 2 in April, and there's another one of those pictures. And oh my goodness, well, I'm going to leave on that. Y'all stay safe in Jesus. Oh my goodness, I bet I made you joke on that. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Merry Christmas. Let's see how this video works. To dust or not dust, I always say. All right, stay safe in Jesus and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye, y'all.